Almost ready to get started. Hello and welcome to everyone who's been joining right now. I've switched the chat to private only so that you don't get distracted by all these messages going on the side and you can focus on the webinar. We're going to cover a lot of stuff today, guys. So I'm really excited and I'm really happy to see that we have such a big audience and that we're going to help so many people with this webinar. So let's get started, I would say. So the topic of this webinar is how to get into an international medical school in Italy in 2020, and especially how to do it without having to spend like years and tons of money on trying and retrying all the time. And so before we get really started, I just wanted to make a little announcement. So if you stick to the end of this webinar, I'll make sure you'll get a free PDF copy of this IMAT cheat sheet, which has all the equations and formulas you will need for the IMAT. Could be really helpful for studies to have this, all those formulas in one place. So keep, watching till the end, and you'll get the copy sent to you as well. Okay, so in this webinar, I wanted to share with you the 3 secrets. So the first one being how the COVID can actually be your opportunity in 2020. The second being why passively studying for the IMAT is not enough, and I will show you why exactly. The third point being how to choose the right medical school to improve your chances of entry, which can be really crucial. Before we really dive into the topic today, let me just ask you one more thing. If you could really silence or put away your phone and turn off any distractions, close maybe even the door to your room, and try to really focus on this webinar, because we're going to go fast over a lot of information and you don't want to miss out on anything. So grab a pen and close everything else and stay focused. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. My name is Alex Sałczykowski. I've studied in Harvey Medical School in Pavia, and today I'm as a practicing medical doctor. So I'm doing a residency in eye medicine in Germany. I'm also a researcher in gene therapy with more than 10 publications, and I'm also a founder of medschool.it. And I actually also supervised an official IMAT test back in the days. So I'm sure I'll be able to give you some really valuable information in this webinar. Maybe let's just let me start by telling my story and my journey to Italy and beyond. So basically, several years ago, after finishing school and saving some money by working, I started executing on this long plan that I have of studying medicine in Italy. And so I've chosen Pavia, and I've applied to Pavia mainly because it was a combination of several good things. It was located in the north, so you had like all the Alps, the sea, like the highly economically developed area, but still relatively low prices. So it's not Milan prices, but actually some more affordable prices you could live with. The students' life was really great from what I've heard, and the collegio parties, and it was located just 40 minutes away from Milan by train. So I had access to all the airports and all the nice things in Milan, but without paying the high prices for it. So like the best of both worlds, basically. So a small city, not too many distractions, not too many expenses. The studies were completely in English, and you can see here is a sneak peek from one of the lectures where the professor was presenting some clinical case, and most of the lectures were based on presentations, and of course it was all in English. And actually, the level of the English of the professor was surprisingly good, because Italians for most of them English is not a native language. There's some mother tongue. So it was nice to see that I could always understand the professors, and that probably was mostly because they had a very strong background in research, and so it was a great stuff. Not everything was lessons. We had also a lot of labs in Pavia, like you see here. We were separating some DNA from some blood, and it was really nice hands-on experience. But my experience also wasn't only in Italy, because one of the nicest things about medical studies there is that you could spend a year abroad. And this year is actually completely paid for. So, for example, in my case, I've spent a year in Germany, and I didn't have to pay for the German university. I just continued basically being a student in Pavia, but was attending all the courses, doing all the exams in Germany. And when I came back to Pavia, I continued my studies from that point. So it basically was my third year. And when I came back to Pavia after 1 year in Germany, I continued in the fourth year. And all the exams in Germany from the third year were recognized, and I didn't have to lose any time. It was really, really good experience, and I would highly recommend to all of you to do an Erasmus abroad. So that's how it looks like when you really study medicine, especially anatomy. And a friend of mine said that no table is big enough to study anatomy. I could not agree more. You could always use some more space. Well, and after all those years of hard studies and tough exams, came also my graduation. As you can see here in a photo, we were quite a small class, and it was very exciting times, and was really, really nice, memories from that as well. Today, I'm working as a medical doctor and researcher in Munich, in Germany, which is a very competitive city to work in. Even Germans themselves who live in Munich sometimes have to switch cities and go somewhere else because they're not able to get a job there or get like a specialty training there, because places are so limited and everyone wants to go there. This is just, I think, a good sign of how good of a quality was the medical education that we got and the tools that we got that actually allowed us to get in those high, in-demand places. And I'm not the only one. A lot of my friends are also practicing in big major cities in Switzerland, in the UK. Even I have a classmate from London. So a lot of good locations. But actually, what's basically my mission with med school at IT, and why am I doing all of this? So when I went through this whole process, it was quite a challenge. I had to figure out a lot of stuff by myself, and I had to, break walls and go through fire basically to get into the places I wanted to get. And so my mission became to offer the help and the guidance that I wish I had when I was getting to medicine in Italy. And hopefully you can benefit from it as well. So I'd like to see, I'd like to share with you what I've learned over the years about Italy's medical schools. And I think a lot of it are like hidden gems, because unless you look for medical studies in Italy explicitly, chances are quite low that you just stumble upon it somewhere on the web on some commercial, because that's like it's not those private medical schools in Eastern Europe or other countries which have like heavy budgets and like basically recruit students through advertising. Pavia is really like Italy in general is really like a hidden gem of international medical schools and medical studies. So one thing I've learned is that in Italy you can study it in English, right? So it might be trivial for you now, but it wasn't trivial back then. I've got into the first ever medical school that opened in Italy in English, which was Pavia. And I was surprised that everything was in English. So the lectures, the presentation, the books, the exams, everything was in English, which is, I think, was a great advantage, because it's when it's a language you can understand from day one, then it's so much easier and you can just start studying. Another kind of gem I found is that in Italy you can actually get this world-class, like European level degree, which is an affordable. It's an affordable because you pay at max 4,500 euros per year in tuition fees. And if you're smart and if you know, like if you apply properly, then chances are that you will going to pay way, way less, like maybe €1,000, maybe even less. And I think also a very important thing is that you can enjoy your time not just in the lecture room, but also outside of it. So you can see here that's a picture from Naviglio in Milan. It's one of the major bars and restaurants area we can drag, like you can go and have a drink with some friends. So it's not always the case. In many other countries outside of Italy, I've heard a lot about Eastern Europe. They have also great medical schools, but you have a bubble. So you're like, when you're outside of the medical school, you have no social life. And in Italy, it's actually the opposite. Like your life just starts when you get outside of the medical school. And that's great to see, to know. And I think the most important thing is that the understanding that holding a European medical degree from Italy makes you globally employable. Yeah, so it means you will become this highly in-demand professional that can work basically anywhere in the world with really little effort to get recognition and almost no effort if you're going to stay in Europe. Now, let's switch to a more dear topic. You know, the COVID-19 pandemic has been quite a big hit, not just in Italy, but on the world in total. And a lot of people got, of course, very frustrated and not so sure what's going to change, where is it all heading, how is it going to develop. And if you remember several days ago, or like some weeks ago, there, like most countries had like a total close down where you could not go into like even public places, where you have to wear like masks everywhere. And it's still, I mean, it's still the case right now as well. But I think the situation starts to get quite, better. For example, here there is a very encouraging graph of the number of new cases reported in Italy. And as you can see, we had this huge peak in April, but since then the cases are going lower and lower. And hopefully it will stay the same way or not get too much higher from this point on, so that we can get back to normal. But let's maybe just see what's the current situation in Italy as of now, and what are the restrictions and what are the other things. So currently, the commercial activities is allowed in Italy. It's mandatory to wear masks, and you have like lines which are separated like several meters between people. But from June, which is really soon now, it should become possible to travel again, and also to the EU and other countries like UK, Monaco, and so on. And that's from an official source. It's actually the National Agency for Tourism that was publishing it. Now, what about the current situation in the universities? Currently, all the lessons and exams are still being held, but just online. So you don't have to go to the university at the moment. And all the education, everything happens online with live streams and so on. From September to January, they're going to try to evolve into a mixed didactic model, meaning that we'll be trying to combine the frontal lessons, in-person lessons, with online lessons. And I've also read in this Corriere della Sera, which is a national newspaper in Italy, that they really want to make sure that the international students especially feel secure and that they're not left behind with the admission process. So they'll be trying to do as much of the application in September, October online as possible. In the financial terms, there actually were some good news. So they have announced that they're going to add €200 million more to this funds for scholarships. So it actually, on top of the already quite generous funds of scholarship, which you can get in Italy, of up to €5,000 a year with free tuition, but it's not going away because of the virus. So let's see what are the actual impact of the virus and what things are going to change. So the IMA test date has remained unchanged, and there's been quite a recent update about it that it's going to stay the way it is. So it's going to be on September 10th, and there are no changes expected with it. What about the modality? So there have been some rumors if IMA is going to be held online or not. And the Minister of Education has expressed himself and said that we're not going to do the medical admission test online. So that is out of question as far as it seems for now. But what he said is that probably they're going to offer more test centers, which is also good news, so that they could spread the people a bit more evenly and not, so that people have more distance between them. And if that doesn't work out well enough, then they're going to be holding the test in batches divided in several days. So basically, it's still not clear if it's going to be exactly the same test. Probably not. Probably going to be some different questions on different days. But those are the two current proposals of dealing with the IMA test. About the IMA registration, as you've seen, we have no announcement still, but it's also not very strange, because of the corona, things are getting postponed. So we expect that in June we will have some news, and as soon as we do, I will update you. So make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter on edschool.it, and you'll get the updates as well. Now, I wanted to talk to you about if this coronavirus situation is actually how it can actually be an opportunity for you, an opportunity because it changes the situation quite significantly. So, for example, most of the people that are sort of considering medical school right now, they spend time worrying. But if you know the situation, if you know what's the perspective is getting better, that things are going to be better, and we have time until September, instead of spending the time on worrying, you should be spending the time on preparing for the IMA test, preparing for the application. Right now, the embassies are still closed, but we expect in the next several weeks, we'll start getting some responses for them, and you will be able to start applying. So people who worry, they also postpone the preparation. I've got some emails of people saying, well, they are not interested in studying medicine this year. They'll probably postpone it to next year because of all the uncertainty. That's actually your opportunity, and you should start preparing early. So them preparing too late or not preparing, and you should be preparing early. And while others are getting confused of all the news and all the information, you should get informed by reliable sources. And I think it's a really nice quote, especially for those days we have. So life is inherently risky, but there is only one big risk you should avoid at all costs, and that is the risk of doing nothing. Okay, so let's transition to the next chapter in this webinar and go over a bit over the medical schools themselves. So as you probably already know, there are public and private medical school system in Italy. Most of the universities are public, and just some 4 or so of them are private. The admission exam is completely different. So all the public universities use the IMA test, and the private universities hold their own admission tests, and it's not exchangeable. So you cannot take the IMA to get into a private university. You cannot take a private university exam to get into a public one. The tuition fees are also different. So the prices we've mentioned below 4,000 are for the public universities. Private universities, they go on a higher price range, which differs from place to place, but you can also look it up. And of course, the differences in programs themselves. Private universities tend to have many more labs, simulator centers, like really nice bells and whistles. And it's not that extra price you pay is for nothing. It's actually for a lot of extra goodies you're getting, both in the quality of your education and your overall experience. So this is just like a partial list of the medical schools of the public ones, because every year we see new medical schools getting added. And when do we know when a new medical school goes on? Is when the IMET decree is going to be released, which is expected to be in June. We will update you as soon as we know of any new universities, because we'll get to that in a moment. Why is that important? In the public universities, like you probably already heard, you have just a one admission exam. You take the IMA just once. It's held once in a year, in September this year. And you could take it in 20 different cities or more around the globe. This year, probably more. And you don't need anything else. So you don't need to do any interviews. You don't need to show how was your average in the high school. Basically, that's the main requirement. How does the medical course look like? So the first 2 years are basic sciences. You're really studying things like biology, chemistry, physics. The consecutive years from third to sixth year are going to be clinical. So you'll be studying a lot of diseases, a lot of different body parts and different specialties, basically. It will be combined with hospital activities and some language courses. You'll be encouraged to learn some Italian by the universities, and most universities also provide us a free course to let you do that. You'll also graduate with a thesis, which means you'll have a nice doctorate degree, and you'll be a true doctor. So you have, just real quick, the academical year. You have 2 semesters per year. One starts in October, the second one starts in March. At the beginning of the semester, we have a lot of lectures, which are mixed with some electives, extra activities that you can choose. And towards the end of the academic year, you get the exams for that year. So how the admission works, we've actually gone through it in medschool.it, but just to make it more vivid, you have the pre-enrollment stage, which happens in June, in which you go to the embassy and you get your dichiarazione di valore, which is basically a document that you need later for the application. You also get all the information about the visas. Then in July, usually the online registration opens for IMET at the University Italy website that I'll show you in a moment. Then you'll be sitting the IMET test in September, and the October will come into rankings. The rankings will go up. Let me just have a second. Okay, so this is how the typical schedule looks like. Studies in October till February. This is how a typical week looks like during the semester, with all the different courses being spread all over the day. And let's see what are the most in-demand medical schools. This is the IMET scores, the minimal score that we've calculated that you needed in previous years to enter. So as a European, and as you can see, Milan, so the 2 universities at the top here are Milan, then you have Pavia, Bologna, Padua. So except of Rome here, all those universities are in northern Italy. So maybe let's have a quick look at several of them with some pictures. You have this La Sapienza at Rome. It's a big university. The hospital is next to the campus. You have the metro in Rome, so it's very nice. You have it in Rome and in Milan as well, and the university is close to the city center. Now, a quick jump to Milan. The Statale University in Milan is very highly ranked as well. It's number 1 in Italy in several different ranks, and 79 worldwide. Really good medical school as well to attend if you manage to get in. The fees, like we've said, are very low and could get lower based on the socio-economic status. So basically, when you apply for a discount on your tuition fees, you tell them the family size that you have, the income of your family, and the country, and so basically they calculate the deduction. You can also get scholarships of up to 5,000 euros, like I've mentioned, and you can also work with a student visa even as a non-European, which is in that case it's limited to 50% of the full work time. The cost of living are also very moderate, so you can get away with something like 600 to 900 euros, depends per month, depending really on your level, how nice of a house you like to live in, if you would share an apartment, if you can share a room. So that really changes a lot. And also you have the private medical schools, which I think also are worthy of a mention. I think the brightest example of them is the Humanitas University in Milan, which have actually two courses. One is Unimed, which is a medical degree of 6 years, like the other degrees that we've mentioned. And they also have this MedTech, which is a combined degree in which you get an engineering and a medical diploma at the end. So you are becoming a doctor and an engineer in the field of bioinformatics, all the cutting edge technologies and machine learning and all those stuff. So it's really, really exciting. And they hold their own admission test format this year. And you can find more details also on the med school website if you'd like. So let's see what are the biggest factors that will affect your chances of getting into medical school. The number one, the most important thing about this is your admission score. So it really boils down to how much you get to at the IMET, because as you've seen, the scores between the universities don't change really much. Yeah, you've seen that graphic we just reviewed before. You have several points of difference in the minimal score between universities. So it's really important you score high. Nevertheless, it's important you choose the right university for your level of what you can get or what you're expecting you can get. And that can make a difference between getting in and missing a year. So that can be a bit tough of a choice sometimes, because there's also other parameters involved in this decision. And also being informed well about the process can make a difference, because you can pass the test and you can do everything well, but still fail to enroll or skip some step. And it's really important you know what you're doing. And hopefully with this webinar, I'll also help you save some trouble. In the IMET test, you probably already know we have the 4 sections. We have the logical reasoning, general knowledge, the first part of the IMET, and then we have the precise sciences. We have then the negative scoring. So if you mark a question in a wrong way, you get minus points, and the time is very limited. It doesn't cost really very much, so something around 100 and a bit more, over 100 euros, pounds, or whatever other currencies. Yeah, after the IMET, you will need to know the enrollment procedures. So you'll need to know how it works. You should keep in touch with the universities and the admission offices. It's really important, and have all your documents organized and cleared out with the embassy before you get to this point, because once the results are out, you will have really a small window of opportunity to really start your registration in the university. You have to do it within 4 days, basically. And let me explain to you maybe shortly and show you how it works. So this is the website, universitaly.it. This is your portal to everything that has to do with the admission to the IMET test, with the admission to the medical schools. Everything you do is done through this website primarily. After you register, you have your own private area where you can see your marks, your status, all those things. So let's maybe see really quickly how it would look like after the IMET test. So let's say we're now in September, the scores come out. Everyone made several choices. So for example, we have here the first person, Alex here. He had the highest score at the IMET from all the candidates. He got 52, so he's ranked number 1 in the list because the list is sorted by score. His first choice was Milan, second choice was Pavia, third choice was Napoli, and so on and so on. Now, in our example, we'll say that Milan has just 2 places, Pavia has just 2 places, and Napoli has 1 place, just to make it simple and quick. And so in this case, Alex gets the first place in Milan, and the scrolling list goes on. Felix has 50 points. He wants Pavia. Pavia still has 2 places, so Felix gets this 1 place in Pavia. Caroline is the next on the list. She also wants Milan. Luckily, there are 2 places for Milan, so she gets the assigned So you see the status that they get is assigned, meaning they can proceed with the enrollment to the university right away. And they have 4 days to do it. They can do it usually online by contacting the university and sending some preliminary details, and the university will also instruct them how to complete those. It's not that big of a deal once you're in it, but just that you know that you have to act fast once the results come out. And then it starts, so with Sophia, it starts to get interesting because she's taking the last place in the list. But as you can see, she has the same score as Ivana, which is parity of scores. We'll maybe have a quick look how that is being resolved. And let's go to Ivana now. Now, Ivana scored too low, and Pavia has already all the places taken. So Ivana cannot go to Pavia. Her second choice is Napoli. Napoli still has 3 places left, so she is booked to Pavia. So it's not assigned, but she is booked, meaning that she has the option, either she's going to wait to see if there anyone who is going to miss the 4 days of their enrollment time to Pavia and drop out, and free up a place. In this case, she will get assigned to Pavia, or she can decide to enroll into Napoli right there at the spot. And so the list goes on and on and on. People that cannot get to any university because they scored too low and all the places were taken already will be put on a waiting list. And it's basically, the chances are quite low that something is going to change there, but they might be switched to a booked position, for example, in that case. Okay, so that's a small explanation of what every basically status means. Assigned means you should enroll to university. Booked means you have 2 options: either wait and try to get to your first option or the higher option, or to enroll immediately to the option you are given. So just to make a little example, everyone understands what it means. So for example, if Alex scored 49 points and he's chosen Pavia as his 6th preference, so very low priority Pavia, but David scored below Alex with 48 points and Pavia was his 1st preference. So David scored lower but has a high preference, in this case, who's going to get the place? So according to this logic that we just went through, Alex is going to get the place despite him ranking the university to 6th place, because he got a higher score, and the system always protects the person with the highest IMAT score and make sure they'll get the best hand. Okay, for non-Europeans, this whole story is unfortunately not relevant, because they're not ranked nationally, so they're not going to be listed in one national list, but they're actually going to be listed locally in the university. And because of this, the first choice that they put during the IMAT registration is crucial, because that's basically the most probable university they're going to go to. If they don't, chances are very, very, very low that they get into the 2nd or 3rd choice, because then there should be like 3 places left in the university, and they'll be like the last, basically, priority for the university as a candidate. So the chances are really, really slim. Okay, so that was already a lot. Let me just sip a glass of water and we'll continue right away. Oh, guys, you're really well focused. I think it's going to be really nice. We have 620 people now in the webinar, and let's continue to this preparing for the IMAT section, and of course getting results, because otherwise, who would need to prepare? So just as a reminder, if you stick to the end of this presentation, you'll get a free copy of the IMAT cheat sheet to help you study and prepare for the scientific parts with formulas for physics, chemistry, and math, to help you revise and remember what's important for the test. So the IMAT is the most important hurdle you have to overcome. The time limit at the exam is a very, very big challenge, and the negative points when you do the exam, actually, it kills you. It's really makes you wonder and hesitate at every answer you give, because potentially that could take points away from your final score. So if you're not sure, you should never guess. But if you are sure, sometimes you get less secure in your answer. So what this all means is that you can and you should prepare for the IMET. Unfortunately, knowing the IMET topics is not really enough, and that's because the IMET is largely a skill-based test. So it's not just enough to know, what's a mitochondria or what's any other like little piece of information. You have to know how to apply it in the special way that the IMET presents those questions. And you can only learn that by doing a lot of practice and by learning really beyond just what's there. Also, remember, you'll be competing with 8,000 candidates, so it's not an easy exam to pass. General knowledge is this section that really grew a lot last year. So you have this year, like last year, it was 12 questions in general knowledge, and a lot of people got really confused of how they are going to prepare. And I want to give you some tips because I think it's really doable and it's really possible to prepare for the general knowledge section, because a lot of the subjects are very heavily biased towards Europe and towards certain topics around the Italian and European culture. They usually sprinkle some more questions from other parts of the world. But if you go over the previous years and do a good analysis, you could make a list of things you could actually review in a focused way, and that could actually work as well. For the scientific parts, it's really important that you get this concept right. So as you can see, we've sorted here the scientific topics of the IMET based on the level of knowledge and the level of skill. So the biology, you have a lot of knowledge. You either know the question or you don't. It doesn't take you much time to really read through the question and understand what's going on there. You either know it and you mark it, you don't and you leave it. And as you go down, the picture flips. So until you get to the bottom of the pyramid, you get to the math. So basically with math, of course, it has also some knowledge, but it's basically skill, and it's how fast and how good you can solve those math problems. And so it's mostly practice and practice and practice. Well, the most important part is that you keep calm and pass the IMET, because that's the biggest hurdle. And once you get through there, you can maybe imagine yourself sitting in one of those, one of those groups, and maybe even living and studying in Italy and sitting in one of those nice cafes and having a sip with your friends after studies. Or even imagine you could actually be graduating as a medical doctor, and I just wanted to have you picture that, because I think it's a big motivator. Like when you know how would that feel, when you get to medicine and like imagine how your parents would react, imagine like how what everyone else would say about it, how exciting it's going to be. It's a really big deal. It's going to change your life for the better in a lot of senses. And so before we continue, I just wanted to ask you something. Well, we've went through a lot of information now. You've seen we have like a lot of stuff being covered, a lot of questions being answered, the burning questions being answered. And it really boils down to this one thing that is actually should be at the top priority for you now. And it's how you prepare for the IMET the best possible way. And I just wanted to ask you to allow me to take a moment and to show you how we could help you to pass the IMET test and how we could help you prepare. So with your permission, I would like to present the IMET Live course, which is the special course for IMET preparation that we've put together, which is basically a course that I dreamed of having for myself back in the days. So basically the vision that I've wished I would have. But let's maybe see for a second what's about the IMET Live course, what's inside, what's included. So it's a really intensive course with focused 2 weeks of live tuition. we selected the best Cambridge and Oxford IMET experts that will be teaching those subjects, and every single one of them specializes in the part of the IMET that they teach. And everything is being taught online, so you can be comfortable and safe at your home without worrying that anything is going to be canceled or you have trouble to get, to the preparation, like class or something like this. Everything is always, at the best way possible. What we're actually going to cover. So we have divided the course into 6 modules, focusing on every single part of the IMET. So we have a whole huge section on general knowledge. We're actually going to go very thoroughly and devote a lot of time to this general knowledge section. In previous year, we actually had a really good success. We basically predicted several questions that came up in the IMET test because we knew how to do the analysis. We knew what's is very probable going to appear. We're also going to go over the problem solving and train you in groups on how that works. Biology, chemistry, physics, math, everything is going to be included. In terms of curriculum, we've based the course on the IMET specs. We've also made sure to prioritize the topics that are appearing often in previous IMET tests. And we made sure to add tons of hands-on practice, because practice is everything. What about the course itself? Like we said, it's 2 intensive weeks. It's 30 hours of live lessons. And we have divided into 2 groups. So you can choose either if you would like to study in the morning or you would like to study in the evening, one of the 2. And it's because of this, the groups are very, very small. We basically have like some really limited sizes because we want this direct communication. We want this interaction. This is very crucial for us for the success. What about the available course dates? So we have 3 courses running this year, and the course in June is already fully booked out. So unfortunately, you would not be able to book that one anymore. But we still have places in the July course, and we still have places in the August course. But even in July, if you could see, we already have something like 20% of the course already booked, and places are getting booked fast. So take a note of that as well. We're really glad to see how what kind of responses we get from people who took the class. So when we made a poll and asked if people would recommend, we just get stellar reviews. So people really like the live IMET course. And like I've written here below, the proof of the pudding is in its taste. So basically, it's good when you see people like it at the end. So here's, for example, what one of the live course students said about his course last year. So he said, I have found the lesson so far very helpful and engaging. I've been surprised by how much content we will be able to cover in a relatively short time. The tutors were obviously well prepared. As someone overseas, I found the opportunity to sit down with other students rewarding and comforting, which was definitely helped me with my confidence for the exam. So as you can see, the IMET is not just convenient and effective. It also have the social component to it. And before we continue, I wanted to maybe know that I wanted to present you a case study, so of an actual person who went through the whole process. But before we get to that point, just wanted to make a little summary here. So it really comes down also to what you want to get with this. How would you maximize your success chances? How do we make the most that, to make sure you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting your resources. And so we wanted to come up with something that's going to take you to the next level, take you above the competition, because this is what it's all about. You're not there to just, pass the IMET and get a 20 so you could be happy. You really need to outperform the others. And so we've checked, made a little research on the market to see what's typically cost, what is the typical cost of such courses. So basically, if you take a course like this on the free market, what would that cost? And the estimated cost that we came up for some course like this was £697. But let's just put the price to the side for a moment. Yeah, it's let me just show you a couple of more things first, because we wanted to also let you fill and bridge the time before the live course starts. We also included the IMOT video course, which is a packed video crash course, which you can watch anytime. So it's a recorded lessons. You get 8 hours of full HD lessons and full of practice, which will be solving questions during the lessons as well. And we'll be teaching you the critical thinking and problem solving, basically from zero to hero. Basically, if you even don't have any, previous knowledge from those sections. And we'll also be in this crash course covering strategies for the scientific parts and solving a lot of questions. This is how the video courses look like. So you have like several courses and several instructors, all Cambridge, all Oxford, and only the best universities in the UK teach their topics that they are specialized in. If you can see here as well, we're really invested a lot of effort into those courses, and this is just the videos, right? So you can imagine what's the live course investment is like. And even for that part, the students are very happy. They here you have a girl from Slovakia saying that she found it really helpful, and it was really easy to follow, and she would really highly recommend it. And those are all genuine reviews. We didn't push people to give us reviews like promising their money or anything like this. Those are actually genuine reviews people gave us. So if we estimate the value of this offer so far, that's the amount of you should be paying for something like this in the open market. But we also wanted to add some high quality practice questions, and we wanted to let you practice as much as possible. Over 1,000 practice questions on all parts of the IMET is what's included with the question bank. And the simulators also allow you to take any previous IMET test, even the last year, and have all the answers explained. So you never have to wonder, how do you solve this question? Why is it this way or not that way? What is the fastest way to solve it? You always have it in your fingertips. You don't waste time. You always have the solution. And you also have a detailed result analysis. So you get some statistics about your performance. And this is how it looks like. So you basically select the section you want to study, to practice. You select the topics you want to practice, and then you go and answer the question. The timer is running, so you always know what's that you're doing things in a timely manner. And at the end, you get the performance analysis of your simulation. When you review the answers, you get the full solution, and it's not just text. Whenever we find that you need a diagram to understand it better, we will do a diagram. So we really did not spare anything on solving those questions and showing you the solution in the best possible way. And here you see the list of all the previous IMA tests you can take, or just review the answers if you don't want to sit the exam at the time. And that's Jessica from USA saying that she really liked that extensive database of questions and answers, and she really liked that this being always at her fingertips, because that's always accessible from any device you have. So those three components put us on an estimated value for this package of £1,200, and we want to, the live course is 2 weeks, and people were wondering what's happening after the 2 weeks. And that's why I wanted to provide you with the support on an ongoing basis, not just for the 2 weeks, but also after the 2 weeks are over. So we have introduced this live learning support, which means that we get online with your tutors every weekend from the time that the course is over until the time of the exam, on every single weekend, to solve any questions, any IMET-related questions, any things that were not clear, and so that you always know that you have somebody there to help you with a topic you're stuck with, or anything like this. So I think it's a really, really valuable addition, because in terms of amount of support you get, this is something you don't get anywhere else. That's really something unique to this offer. So summarizing what you'll get: the IMAT live course, the IMAT video course, the QBank and simulator, and the live learning support till the IMAT date. And let's see what else is included in this package. So from this year, we also included the IMAT Success Guarantee, which is something also unique to the package that we offer. So basically, we really believe that we can deliver you the results, and that's why we guarantee that you will pass the IMAT, meaning that you will score high enough to get into the university you would like to enter. And if you don't, then you'll be able to retake the next IMAT Live course for free. So you know that you have your back covered. And so with a summary, that all that you're getting: the live course, the video course, the QBank simulator, the learning support session, the success guarantee or the course retake. So you see how much value we're packing into this package. Now, if you just put the price on the side, right? So that's not the actual price we wanted to take for this. But what if like this course, all it would do is just get you to the medical school? Do you think this price would be worth it? Or if it would save you a year or maybe 2 years on retrying and missing out on the medical school, would that be worth it? Or if it just could like save you the stress and the frustration at the test, would that price be worth it? Before we go on, I wanted to maybe come back to the case study of Alex Curry. It's a guy from UK, which has studied chemistry in the UK and wanted to study medicine in Italy. He took the IMAT Live course in last year, and he actually had to work while preparing for IMAT. So as remember, I've mentioned you can choose evening or morning sessions. So that is also in this case, so you could combine it with work and other obligations you might have. And that's what Alex had to say. So he officially started his preparation for IMAT in April, at which point he also signed up for the IMAT Live course. And he found the course was a great help in quickly covering any gaps in the knowledge for the science and math topics. And the critical thinking, it was helpful to have the worked examples and to be shown the mindset. So it was a really positive experience for him, and he really liked the course. It also showed up at the end. So Alex scored 47 at the IMAT, which has put him in the top 8% from 8,000 other competents. So it's if you get there, you're really basically almost surely get a position in one of the medical schools. If you're in the top 10%, your chances are very, very good that you're going to get in the medical school. And so he currently studies in his first year in Messina University in Italy. And of course, he would recommend the IMAT Live course. Now, coming to the pricing of the course, of this package, we had really two options. We either could make it like really cheap as possible, just cut any corners we can, like decrease the quality and the value of this course, and that would also impact the results that you would get. Or the second option would actually require a slightly higher investment from your side, but it will allow us to devote like a lot of more resources to a better quality course and to guarantee you the results. So having said that, what is the worth for you of passing the IMAT? How much is it worth? Like if you imagine, how much would you earn as a medical doctor? So would it be 5,000 a month, 10,000 more, maybe even more, depends where you work and what's your specialty. So how much would it be worth to pass the IMAT? But more than that, how much would you lose in potential earnings if you would not pass the IMAT in 1 or 2 years? But of course, we do not want to charge this high price for this package. We just wanted to make the best package we could but also to make it affordable enough so that people could really enjoy it and have it accessible enough for them. And very glad because we were able to reduce the price with all the planning and all the procedures which we used to reduce the prices, so that we could get the price to £597. And I think it's really exciting because if you think about it, you could, if you pass the IMET, everything is going to change. If you become a doctor, your life is not going to be the same again, so to say. And I know it sounds like strange, but it's true. I mean, once you're in this elite club of medical professionals, of physicians, then you're basically set for life. You're set for life with a very stable profession, which you can see, especially in those times, how in demand that is, but also for many other things. It's a meaningful job. It's a stable pay. It's all the respect and all the benefits that you get. And if you can always find a field in medicine that you like. And the experience in Italy was a very unique experience per se. So let alone the medical school, just living for 6 years in such a country with all the foods and all the people is something that very, very few people will get a chance to experience in their life. And I think that's why this is such a special opportunity for you. But because we're in this webinar and you made it, actually 610 people of you made it that far, I wanted to add also a special bonus. So it will be, I will give a one-on-one consultations to 20 first people who will sign up today. And to sign up, all you have to do is go to imetschool.com/go and register and select the scroll down and select the IMET live course. In this consultation, we can talk about anything you'd like. We can talk about your career options. We can talk about strategies for scholarships. We could talk about choosing the right university. We could talk about anything that you wish. I'm really open to share my experience, really open to share how you can get into research, how you can get into Germany, how you can get into top specialties. All those things we could cover with this consultation call. Of course, as a full-time working physician, I cannot offer it for all of you, unfortunately. So I'll have to limit it for the first 20 people who would sign up today. So having said that, you have two options in front of you right now. The first option is to do nothing. And by nothing, I mean absolutely nothing. You just turn around, walk away from this deal. I hope never wonder what could happen if you had taken it. And the second option is that you take the leap of faith and you'd register for the live course and you let us help you with your IMET preparation and let us get you into the medical school of your choice and help you become one of the physicians who graduated in Italy. So summarizing what you're getting is the live course, the 2 weeks intensive IMET live course, the video course with over 8 hours of video content, the QBank and simulator with over 1,000 questions, our weekly live learning support till the IMET date with weekly sessions live with the tutors to take any questions, the IMET success guarantee with a free retake option, and the bonus consultation call with me. And that's only for £597 today. And one thing I wanted to discuss with you also is it's more of in terms of a mindset. So if you think about what is your biggest asset right now, because if you take money it's replenishable. You can sort of always earn more money. You can always go to work. It's not something that you're gonna miss. But can you really earn back lost time? And the answer is no, you can't. The time that passed, you cannot bring it back. So time is actually your most valuable currency, and you are your biggest investment asset. So investing in yourself and in your future is the best thing you can do to yourself at this. So let me maybe show you what how you would need to register if you choose to for the IMAT Live course. And this is how you do it. You basically go to imatschool.com/go. It will take you to this registration page where you just need to put your name, email, and choose a password. Then you click on sign up and you'll be taken to this account page. If you just scroll down this account page, you will see the IMAT Live online course, and you'll be able to choose one of the two dates. As remember, the June is already booked out, so you will have to choose between July and August. If you choose July, you will get also the most learning sessions, the weekend learning sessions that we talked about, which will start after your course ended. So by taking it in July, you will get basically 4 more of those sessions. And you can also choose the time you would like the course to take place. If you're not sure, just choose one of the two, and you can switch later with the exact time. Then you click reserve, and all you need to do is just enter your credit card details. Any credit card is accepted, Master, Visa, all the major credit cards are accepted, and it will be securely processed, and you will get the access right away. So you'll get access to all those things that we've mentioned. The IMAT Live course will show up as reserved for you. The video course will be completely open with all the 8 hours available to you. You can start learning right away. The QBank and simulator will be completely fully open to you. You'll be able to start preparing and start solving some questions, looking at your weaknesses and strengths at the IMAT. And you will get the live learning support at the weekends after the live course is over. If you're going to be one of the 21st people to register today, then you will also get the bonus consultation with me, which I think is a very huge value if you'd like to go over that. So as you know, we had 580 people in this webinar, and it's been a very exciting experience for me, and I hope for you too. Let me share with you also my promised PDF for a second. Need to just do a couple of clicks here. So in a moment, you should see the PDF appearing, and if you'd like, also the link to the live course, you should also appear in a few seconds for you. So I hope you've learned a lot from this. I hope you are positive about applying to medicine this year. I applaud you for thinking about this career choice, and I think it's really a worthwhile experience for you. We'll do the most on our part. I hope we will do the most on your part, and whenever any updates come out, you'll be the first to know. And hopefully that's going to be a huge success for you and a huge start for you. And we'll be glad to be part of this success as well. So if you want, I would maybe dedicate a few last minutes to ask some questions that came up here in the chat room. So let me just have a second to go, and I'll go over about some things. Gabriel, thank you too. Thank you for attending the webinar. Let me see if I can shoot you the file once again for the people who cannot see it. Okay, should be appearing once again anytime. So let's see the chat's questions for a second. Okay, so let's see. So Ram is asking if the application, the enrollment, will be done online for the non-Europeans. So that's something we've seen in the newspapers. They were saying that they're going to do all they can to make sure the foreigners will be able to register. So they'll be providing online registration options and online ways to do things, just to make sure that everyone gets a fair chance to enter. So if the things will not resolve significantly till September, you will have an option also to do it online. That's what the current discussion was about. So regarding universities, somebody was asking if there's some better options or less. So an important thing when you choose the university is actually to consider several factors. Is the university in the north or in the south? Italy is quite divided in this respect. Everything that is south to Rome is considered to be southern Italy, and everything in the north from Rome is northern Italy, and quite a big difference between the two. With the north being very industrially developed and having the higher living standards and many other aspects. And also the northern universities tend to have way higher IMAT scores. And so if you choose the northern university, you should maybe have several IMAT simulations with like real timer, see how much you score, and use the tables that we have to check what was the minimal score for that university in previous years. You can find it on the med school website as well. And that way you could see what are your, basically, if it's something you should aim for, or maybe there are better options for you. In the south, I think it's great as well. I've spent 3 months in the south studying Italian some years ago, and it was also a very pleasant experience. In terms of social life, in the south, it's more like Spain, and the north is closer to Germany, so to say, right? So it's not exactly Germany, not exactly Spain, but if you could sort of explain the social aspect of life there, that's like the differences. The second factor for choosing the university should be if it's like how new or established the program is. When you have well-established programs like Pavia, they're usually very known. They have a very long experience, very lots of positive feedback, so people know what to do, like know what they're getting. Those universities also tend to have the higher competition. Whenever there's a new university being added, that's when you get actually the opportunity to get inside with a relatively low score. But the trade-off is that you will have to go through all the bumps in the roads in the road of this university while it basically builds the medical school with you together. It's also a nice thing because your feedback is very valuable, and they will change the program to your needs, basically, and according to your feedback, right? And I think you should never forget also the economical aspect of the university choice. If you are like me, will be financing yourself during the medical studies, and you have some work you can do maybe online from home, then you will save a lot of money by living in a smaller city in the north or in the south, or even a bigger city in the south, rather than in a big city in the north. That would be the most expensive option, because if you have your online job, you don't really it doesn't really matter where you live. So let's see maybe some other questions here from the audience, and we'll be wrapping up, I think, in like 5 minutes or so. So what about like passing IMAT? So this is something that confuses a lot of people. What's the IMAT passing score, right? Everywhere we present this concept, we show you that, for example, Turin has a minimal score of 20, I don't know, like I'm just making up, like 45. What does it mean? It means that we went through the ranking list, and we saw in the previous year who was the last person who got admitted to this university, and what score did they have in order to get admitted there. So basically, the universities do not set the cut-off scores for the IMAT. It's basically the physics of the whole process of the IMAT list scrolling that determines the minimal admission IMAT, like the minimal IMAT score for the specific university. And this is also determined by the number of people who will be interested in the university, by the number of free places that they have, and also by the quality of the people. So the better prepared they are, the higher the IMAT scores will be, even if there are fewer people. But like I've said, this year, I think that it's going to be a special situation. So I think there will be fewer participants in the IMAT. It will be more challenging to take the IMAT for people. And that could be an opportunity for you to actually get an upgraded sort of university choice. So there's no such thing, so to say, as passing IMAT score for university, but it's just some historical kind of calculation that we do based on previous results to tell you, to let you sort of know what is a more difficult university to enter and which one is not. And as you've seen, those tend also to remain quite stable between the years. So universities which are hard to enter usually remain hard to enter, and so on. So maybe let's see, maybe a last question here. Last question from the chat. Well, let me see some interesting questions here, but we'll have to do something shorter. So what should we see? Okay, so one interesting question. How do you compare the education in Italy compared to Germany? So because I had the Erasmus, I actually had the experience of doing both, studying in Germany and studying in Italy. And you know, I always thought that the Germans are like, well, there are a lot of differences. I mean, it's not the same for sure. I've studied in Germany, also in German, so you don't have an option to study in an English language. So if you study in Germany, it's totally different in that respect, that you have to study in a foreign language, which is foreign only for you, but not for the rest of the class, in my case at least. The second biggest difference with Germany was that in Germany you have 3 attempts and every test you take. If you fail after 3 attempts, your studies in Germany are basically over. You will never become a doctor in Germany after failing 3 times the test during the studies, and it can be any test, your biology test at the beginning or the last test of your degree. You fail it 3-4 times, it depends on the university, and you basically cannot be a doctor in Germany. You will either have to go abroad or you have to jump through hoops and so on. In Italy, they're not that strict with you, so they let you retake the exam. You will be penalized for retaking the exam too many times, but in most cases, they're not ever going to force you out of your studies unless you decide for yourself that it's not the thing for you. So I think that's a very huge advantage, because exams in medical school are not always just your preparation. There's a lot of luck factor involved as well, and not passing an exam 2 or 3 times can be purely misfortune, having like the professor asking you some question which you may be less familiar with. So all of those things which are very not in your control. And I would rather have the flexibility, especially if you have to work, especially if you have family, because there are people who are studying in Italy who are 30 years old, who are 40 years old. So there's no limit to the age at which you could study. And a lot of people come with families as well. So at the end, I think it's really, the question is, you get a degree at the end. Your degree is a European degree, So when I went to Germany now for work, I didn't have to take any knowledge tests. I didn't have to prove to anyone what my degree is worth. I was able to basically get the practicing license, as a medical practicing license, just by showing that I know enough German. And that's the same. I mean, once you finish your studies in Italy, doors are open for you. You can go, like my friends did, to countries like UK, to countries like Switzerland, Austria, Germany, all over the place. And I'm not just mentioning those countries. There's actually actual countries where people I personally know are practicing now. And so if you want to work in Germany, I think I'm also a good example of how that is a possibility. Even if you did not graduate in Germany, you can still get into a very competitive specialty training program. Like iMedicine is like one of the most difficult to get into. and in very competitive like hospitals and big cities like university hospitals. So I think the Italians really do a good job at providing you the educations you want. And if you ever feel that you have, missed on something in your studies, like you wish you had more, I don't know, labs, you wish you had more anything else, you can just do what I did and do an Erasmus exchange. Go abroad for a year, pay basically nothing extra for it because there are scholarships also for going abroad with this Erasmus program. And you can take all the courses and all the things the students of the German university take, or any other universities for that sake. So you're not really, missing out on anything. So I think Italy is really comparable at the end with the German educations, with both I think are on very, very high level. Okay, so I hope this was worth your time. This whole presentation, it's been almost 1.5 hours, and we still have several hundreds here attending the webinar. At this point, I would like to say thank you, and I hope to see you sometime in Germany or anywhere else. We'll maybe meet, and wish you a lot of luck with the preparation this year, and a lot of luck with the admission exam, and holding my fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly and you get to the medical school and you start studying medicine, because I think it's a really worthy career choice. Okay, so have a good evening and good weekend for the rest of you, and see you. Bye-bye.